one of the big questions, and I have a theory for why it's not more clear, but if at the end of the day, the man who tried to hire Jim Harbaugh 15 years ago, while he had a coach, that was a big deal in early 2011. Stephen Ross tried to hire Jim Harbaugh while he still had a coach in Tony Sparano. Well, here's John. John's available. Harbaugh. And people think that Mike McDaniel wouldn't have been fired this week if John Harbaugh wasn't available. I think the Dolphins are trying to slow play that in the event that they don't hire John Harbaugh, because you look like morons if you fired your coach to hire John Harbaugh and he goes somewhere else. And you also set yourself up, if you make it clear that's your objective, what does that mean? Harbaugh has all the power. Blank check for his contract. You've yielded any potential leverage in your negotiations to John Harbaugh if everybody knows you fired Mike McDaniel to hire John Harbaugh, so you're never going to admit to it. But plenty of people think it. And the available objective evidence based on the way the Dolphins handled the situation, it does point to an idea that the only reason they fired Mike McDaniel is because now they have a shot at John Harbaugh.
Well, you know what, Mike? I would be stunned. If John Harbaugh went to the Dolphins, and I'm sure the Dolphins could throw a bunch of money at him, and they could say, "Hey, we'll allow you to pick the next GM. We don't have a GM either. It's whatever you need, John. We'll give you this, and we'll build that, and whatever you want." The reason I said I'd be stunned by it, because I heard you talking about it a couple of days ago, like the best jobs that are available, and put a ranking on them. The reason I would put Baltimore at 9 is because Baltimore one of these kids is not like the other. So Baltimore has that ownership that we were just talking about. Baltimore has excellent ownership. And John Harbaugh experienced that for 18 years. He didn't have to deal with the dysfunction. I'm sure there was tension in the office, because that's what happens when smart competitive people work together. They don't always agree, and sometimes there's tension, but it's not dysfunction. So he would go from one of the strongest ownership groups to one of the weakest in the league. And I think he knows what that means. There's some hidden cost in there. There's some hidden damage in bad ownership. It doesn't always show up in the box score, but it really hurts you. And I can't imagine him doing that, especially since he has options. If he didn't have options, you take what you can get, but he's got a lot of teams that will hire him. I think it would be stunning to me if he went to the Dolphins and their ownership group when he's got better options out there.
I don't disagree with that at all. And you want to be the team that will lure a coach if all other things are equal, just like you want to be a team that will lure a free agent if all other things are equal. You don't want to have to pay extra. You don't want to have to pay a dysfunction premium to get that free agent, to get that head coach. You don't want to have to give up more authority to the head coach to get him, because he'll just go to the other team if this is going to be the limit of my power over the operation. Because I'd rather go to the other team because the ownership's more stable. They're going to support me more with what I'm looking for in the way of players. There's a lot of factors to consider. There's a lot of due diligence to be done. There's a lot of study. There's a lot of homework. There's a lot of stuff that you got to consider before you take one of these jobs. And we hear all the time, there's only 32 of them. Right, but there aren't 32 good ones. You know, it's like if there's some exclusive neighborhood in a given community, and there's only 32 houses. Yeah, but a few of them aren't in the greatest shape. A few of them need a lot of work. A few of them are just in a bad spot where no matter what you do, it's not going to be good. It's just going to be a money pit. You're going to be in the exclusive neighborhood, but you're going to have a house that you're going to want to sell in 2 years. So there's only 32 jobs justification for taking any job that wants you. That's a mistake, and I think first-time coaches learn the hard way. Maybe I should have waited. Second-time coaches are more careful about where they go because they know it's probably the last shot. And I think John Harbaugh will be careful. I mean, hell, he's already pressing pause on the interview process. We were talking about this yesterday. Attack the day with an enthusiasm unknown to mankind. Yeah, I'll get started next week. He's not doing it because he's lazy. He's not doing it because he doesn't feel like it. He's doing it because he's doing his homework. He's attacking yesterday and today and tomorrow and the next day with an effort to equip himself with any and all information he can get, so when the time comes to start interviewing, he'll be in a position to make the best possible decision. And you're right. Why would John Harbaugh want to coach the Dolphins? Unless Stephen Ross is going to make him an offer he can't refuse to go back to the Godfather. You make me a financial offer that I cannot in good conscience say no to? All right. Oh, and while we're at it, let's negotiate the terms of this deal. Remember when Daniel Snyder tried to get out of football operations altogether? This was 2001. Hired Marty Schottenheimer, turned everything over to Schottenheimer. Snyder's just going to be a fan, and after 1 year, out goes Schottenheimer. Snyder couldn't do it. He couldn't do it. Can't do it. Won't do it. It's my team. I'm going to be involved. So if you're Harbaugh, if you would be attracted to coaching the Dolphins, and hey, I mean, it's South Florida. You can get free agents to come there. You can establish a new tradition where they haven't had one in 50 years. You can do a lot of good things with that team if they're going to pay and if they're going to give you the power to do things the way you want to do it. I mean, Harbaugh is in a great position. He's in such a great position, Michael. It's occurred to me, at what point does Steve Bisciotti ask himself, should I have done this? Like, everybody wants, like, right. Everybody wants this guy.
Wait a minute. Exactly. Wait a minute. He's like, this team's interested too. Everybody's saying all these nice things about him. Wow, we had him. But I think it is one of those things, and we talked about this before the season, during the season, before the firing happened, because that's what it was with John Harbaugh. That sometimes, like, you can be great, but it's just time for another challenge. So I think it was probably the right move for both of them. The Ravens, like 18 years. I mean, it's the opposite of some of these terrible franchises that we talk about. 2 or 3 years, they're on to somebody else. 2 or 3 years, but 18 years is a long time to hear from the same coach, general manager group. I know it wasn't Eric DeCosta the same time at all those years, but DeCosta was there. So Ozzie Newsome, Eric DeCosta, John Harbaugh for 18 years. I mean, it's a beautiful thing, but eventually, yeah, you probably have to do something else. But you know what's funny, Mike? I haven't done this. It'd be a fun exercise. I don't know how much time you have later today. It's probably going to take your entire day to do it. If you look at the Steelers, and I'm being a little facetious, but you look at the Steelers with Tomlin and the Ravens with Harbaugh, and then you look at the Browns and Bengals. How many coaches? How many coaches do the Browns and Bengals have over the last 18 years compared to the Steelers and Ravens? It goes right back to what we started the show with. Sometimes good owners know what to do, and bad owners just can't get out of their way.
Well, and the Browns have had a lot more because they're willing to finance buyouts. The Bengals have had fewer than the Browns because Mike Brown will not pay a coach to not coach the team, which is one of the reasons why Zach Taylor could ultimately emerge as the dean of the AFC North coaches if Mike Tomlin decides to move on to TV or elsewhere after the playoff run ends, and Zach Taylor is the last man standing in the AFC North. It's all because Mike Brown refuses to pay any coach to not coach the team. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.